All right. Hey, everybody. I don't know if anybody can hear me just yet. I'm still trying to make sure. Oh, there we go. Now we're live. We're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Misfit Corner Scams. This is the artist known as Andrew speaking, and we are live streaming. It is Saturday night, my favorite night of the week. Actually, I like Thursdays and I like Fridays, but I really like Saturdays. So I'm really, really glad everybody's coming by to say hi. And let's go ahead and check in and see who all's here. Of course, my good friend Avery is here. How you doing, my friend?
I'm alive.
You were sorely missed last week. I know I told you a little bit about it, but somehow I accidentally hit the mute button on my headphones.
Yeah.
And it took me 7 minutes of reading the chat to catch up to the point where I realized, oh crap, I'm on mute. Because they're in the chat going, Andrew, you're muted. You're muted.
Yeah.
It was so sad.
I've had the coof and I've been kind of out of it.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better at least, right? To be able to join us. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see who all's here. Anita's here. Hey, Anita, how's it going? Oh, wait a minute. Let me increase the size of my screen so I can actually read what's happening. Hi, Anita. How are you? Sarah's here. Sarah says, good evening. Happy Saturday. We're getting a snowstorm here in Connecticut. Oh, boy. What do you say when you get a snowstorm coming? Batten down the hatches, or I don't think that's a snowstorm saying. Stay warm. Stay warm. Do your best to stay warm. How about that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I've been in the South my whole life.
Laura's here. Hello, everybody. Rain in South Florida. Yes, there's rain in South Florida. It's what we call Florida snow is the rain. Glenn's here. Glenn says, hat check. Got it. Cat check. She's right there next to me. Headphone check. Yep, I'm good. Internet check. If you're seeing this, we're good. Custom pen check. Got it right here in front of me. Microphone check. Yes. We're okay and ready to go. I was telling Avery about how he was sorely missed in the fact that I went 7 minutes on mute before catching up to the chat and realizing what had happened. And he would have said something a lot sooner.
Yes.
So, but that's all right. Poo-poo happens, right?
Yeah.
Manuel's here. Good evening, sir. How are you? Happy Saturday. Sarah says hi to Manuel. Manuel says hi to Anita. BB's here, says hi to everyone, and says good evening. Thank you, BB. Manuel says hi to Sarah. Manuel says hi to BB. Jim's here. Hey, happy Saturday night, Jim. How are you? Manuel says hello to Jim. Tim's here. Good evening from Henderson, Kentucky. It's been a gloomy day. Oh, no. Is it snowing? Does it snow in Kentucky? I wonder if it snows in Kentucky.
Yes.
It does? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. BB says, hey to Drew. Susie's here. Hey, Susie says, hello. Welcome to the show. BB says hi to Manuel. Manuel says, hey to Avery and Drew. Happy Saturday. Absolutely.
Hello.
Bert's is here. Says, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. The two of us is here. Says, hello, Drew. Hello to the both of you. Welcome to the show. Jim says, good evening to Manuel. Bernie B says hi to Drew, Avery, and the chat. Manuel says hello to Susie. Jim says good evening to Avery and happy Saturday evening.
Hello.
Sarah says glad you're feeling better, Avery.
Thank you.
At least better enough to join the show, right? All right?
Yeah. I'm a lot better than I was. I still feel like crap, but I'm a lot better than I was.
Yeah. And I do appreciate it greatly. Manuel says hello to Births. Tim says Manuel sounds like Lurch on the Addams Family. Jim says we're getting 1 to 3 inches of snow in New Jersey. Holy crap! Oh boy, that's a lot of snow. I have coworkers in New York, and I was asking them if they'd gotten snow yet, and they were like, "No, not really." And so they missed out on snow for Christmas and New Year's. So, but they told me it was still kind of early, so they may be probably getting it sooner or rather than later. You know. Manuel says, Glenn, happy Saturday. Susie says hello to Manuel. Manuel says hi to Tim. The two of us says, surprise, once again, time for the two of us. Yes, absolutely. Sarah says, I'm supposed to work in a snowstorm, and that will not happen. I live on a dead end. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the last time I even saw snow. Honestly, it was that year that it snowed here in Jacksonville. And the reason I remember it is because I was learning to drive that year.
Mm-hmm.
So I was 16 or 17 years old. So it's been a while. It's been
Yeah,
a long time.
most of it melted within a few minutes.
Yeah, but they did shut down the bridges, remember?
Mm.
They shut down the bridges because they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, because it's a freak thing.
Yep. BB says, get well soon to Avery.
Thank you.
Smidgen's here. Hey, Smidgen says, good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Tim says, I mean Avery. It's all right, Tim. We got you. Yeah. Manuel says to be Bernie B. Happy Saturday. Susie sends RU. I'm not sure what that means, but okay. Steve's here. Hey, Steve. How's it going? Says, love your work. Thank you very much. Smidgen says, Avery, you were missed. Yes, very much so. BB says, we had snow this morning, but it was warmed up and melted. Okay. Actually, no, I take that back. I do remember visiting Todd one year, I believe it was in February, because the New York Comic Con used to be in February, and then they moved it to October. I remember going up there one February, and there was snow on the ground, which was more like slush than anything else. But I mean, it wasn't actually snowing. We weren't going outside and seeing it snow. So it already had been on the ground, and it was more
Gross.
gray than white.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Susie says, oh, yes, talking to Manuel. Manuel says, hey to Smidgen. The two of us says, say we good evening to Manuel BB and all else. Tim says, we have snow, but not right now. Okay. Manuel says, yes, I missed Avery last weekend. Yes, we all did. David's here. Hey, David says, hey, Drew. Welcome to the show, David. Manuel says, hi to the two of us. Manuel says, happy Saturday to David. Glenn says, not too many calls this week, just from Disabled Veterans Pack, Firefighter Pack, Police Pack, and the Service Dog Pack to elect more politicians. Anyone have too many of them now? Already have too many of them now. I don't know if I think I made it into a video already where I got one of the calls, the police officer one, and they were saying they were collecting money in order to elect new politicians. And my question to them was, why not just give the money to the politicians that are already in place? Instead of trying to elect somebody new, why not just bribe or pay off the politicians that are in place right now and get them to vote your way?
Well, the new guy's cheaper. Way? The new guy's cheaper for a while.
Oh, the new guy's cheaper? Oh, well.
Yeah.
But that takes so much longer, don't you think?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. They just want your money.
They're all horribly corrupt.
Yeah. Smidgen says, leaving in a hole to go to the Tom Petty tribute concert. Good weather is okay, California, but we had a quake yesterday. Oh, goodness. I've never experienced an earthquake. Have you, Avery?
No.
Hurricanes, tornadoes, but never an earthquake.
I think that would be my limit. I'd be,
After that, I'm done.
It's like I'm done. I'm out. I'm not staying here.
Nope, I'm out of here.
Moved. No, see you. Bye.
I think that would be really scary. Well, Smidgen, please take care, and hopefully everybody's okay. David says hello to Manuel. Jeremiah is here, says, hi, brand new to your channel. Well, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Smidgen says hi to Manuel. Manuel says, happy Saturday to Jeremiah. Just Me says, did you get a call from the PCH, the Publishers Clearinghouse? I have not gotten a Publishers Clearinghouse call in a very, very long time. So most of the calls I got this week were some of those packs, the firefighters and the police officers. I got a couple of those. And then, of course, the one that you guys heard this morning from the Camp Lejeune scammer, which, yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the formatting to the channel and get some of your guys' input on it. But let me first catch up with the chat, and then we'll start talking about that. Hopefully, we'll be able to talk about that. I jumped too far ahead. Smidgen says, okay. I already got that part. David, Jeremiah. All right. Tim says, I've been stuck at work for several days in a hard snow. Since I've been retired, I don't worry about the snowy weather. Oh, wow. I've been stuck at work for several days in hard snow, but since I've been retired, don't worry about the snowy weather. Gotcha. All right. So what you're saying is, in previous times, you had been stuck in at work due to hard snow. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's something we don't have a problem with down here, down the south.
No.
But
You can get trapped at home though because of tropical storms.
that is true. That is true. David says, "I hope Avery is feeling better."
I am.
He is. He is.
Thank you.
Berth says, I worked Comic-Con once at our convention center in the snow, but it was packed. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm trying. I know there was a show that I went to in Pennsylvania, and being from Florida, I forgot what month it was in, but it was early enough that it was cold out, and they were expecting snow flurries. And I'm there in t-shirts and a short going, what the hell, you know? I was never very well prepared for the northern weather. Never. Manuel says, hey, just me. Jeremiah says, is the whole Camp Lejeune real? And if so, how do they know that the water is contaminated? Well, from what I understand, they did know that it was contaminated, and there was a class action lawsuit. And for people who lived or worked on the camp during the years in which the water problem happened, there is a class action lawsuit out there. Now, the fact that they call people up and randomly say, hey, have you ever been to Camp Lejeune? Oh, you have? Do you have cancer? Well, they're fishing for people and trying to get personal information. And if you ever lived at Camp Lejeune or were stationed there and have medical problems, you need to reach out to an attorney. Don't take these calls from these idiots that call you, because all they're trying to do is steal from you.
Yeah.
As my call with the Camp Lejeune scammer from Pakistan shows you.
It's happened to a couple of ships too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The water supply on the ship got contaminated with the fuel.
Yep.
And it made a bunch of guys sick. Bad.
Yep. And it happens. It happens more often than you think.
Yeah. And they try to cover it up. It's every time.
Yeah, I think the Camp Lejeune one is one of those really, really big ones that they really can't cover up.
Yeah.
So David says, exactly right. We have enough politicians already. We don't get anything done. That is true. Berth says, can you explain the Camp Lejeune scam? I'm still confused about that scam. I've never gotten to the end of the scam. But what they're doing is they're calling people up and they're collecting personal information. Which right there is already a red flag. They're trying to get your personal information and in an attempt to identify you as somebody who might be involved in this class action lawsuit. So that's already a real no-no, is to give them any of your personal information. Now, they may in turn try to get you in touch with a legitimate lawyer, which hasn't actually happened yet. But actually, what was the one? I got a call. This was before Camp Lejeune. This was in regards to the Roundup lawsuit, the Roundup class action settlement, where I actually got contacted by a scammer who wanted to get me in touch with an attorney, and they name drop a couple of different attorneys' name, and a attorney for one of those attorney groups reached out to me because they had heard my video. And they inquired about what was going on, and I gave them all the information I had. But they were aware of it at the time, but they weren't aware to what extent these people were reaching out and talking to people and contacting people. And the attorney told me that they do have people that do outreaches, but they were unaware that they were getting foreign call centers were doing some of the outreaches. So it hasn't changed. Nothing ever stopped. It still happens to this day. So, I mean, it's still I think it's like one of those gray area type of outreaches. It's one of those things attorneys are not supposed to solicit people but third-party call centers can. So it's one of those things where there's a lot of gray area involved in it, but it's one of those things where somebody calls you up and wants to know if you're involved or want to be involved in a class action lawsuit, run the other way if you can.
It sounds.
Yeah. Tim says, I got a call from the cable scammers this week on my cell phone. Okay. I haven't heard from the cable guys in a while. I'm sure they'll be picking back up again soon. Jeremiah says, happy Saturday to Manuel. Manuel says, Drew, have new scammers around the garage. I watched around the garage door. Not sure what that means. Susie's here. Susie says, donate to get them out of office. Oh, that would be nice. BB says, one day I got several, but was not able to answer any or many at all, so no real change to mess with them. They usually either hang up or give up before I say hello. Oh, I still get plenty of calls. Haven't really gotten a lot of recordings, but plenty of calls. Smidgen says, I rather a quake than a tornado. We've had no quake season. We have no quake seasons every year. Oh boy. Sarah sent me a super sticker. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that greatly. Jeremiah says, thank you so much for having me. No problem. Welcome. Just Me says, I didn't feel the quake in SoCal. Have felt them. Do not know. Did you call PCH? I emailed you. You emailed me a number. I'll have to double check. Oh, I think maybe I did get an email from you about those with a number. I have not had time. Honestly, I haven't had any time to do a lot of outbound calling. I've been extremely busy with the regular day job and all the other stuff going on. So I would definitely double check that and see what else I can do. Jim sent me $5. Jim, thank you so much. I appreciate it greatly. Birth says, I love this morning's video. Oh yeah, you know what's so crazy about this morning's video is that I literally was just trying to get off the phone with the guy. I was saying everything I could think of to try to get him, yelling and screaming and cursing at him, and that still didn't get rid of him. And I was literally down the street at McDonald's picking up lunch for the wife and I. Then I got into when I was doing most of the screaming and hollering and yelling at the guy, I was standing outside my car, and my wife's in the car looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, I'm on a scam call, dear. And I'm yelling and screaming at the guy, trying to get him to hang up. And then I got back in the car, and then we drove home, and then I got out of the car, went into the house, sat in front of the computer, and then started recording again. And it was like an 18-minute long call. And it was so bizarre, all the things the guy was saying and talking about. But I'm glad you enjoyed the video. It was a weird one. David says, no donating to politicians doesn't get them out of office. Voting them out of office does. Okay. In some cases, that's the only way to get them out of office.
I don't think that works anymore either.
Well, in some cases, it doesn't. Jeremiah says, I meant to say, is the whole Camp Lejeune thing real? And if so, how do they know if the water is contaminated? I've never really looked into exactly what the class action lawsuit was about. But there is a class action lawsuit that took place due to contaminated water at Camp Lejeune during a certain amount of years. And if you live there during that time and you develop some type of cancer or disease or something like that, you can be part of the class action lawsuit. So it is real in the fact that there was a class action lawsuit, and all the details, I don't know all the details. All I know is I get these calls all the damn time. So Sarah says, I am wearing short sleeves in a snowstorm. Oh, goodness. Actually, believe it or not, I wore jeans all day today and all day yesterday, which is very unusual for me. I'm usually a short and a t-shirt guy, but I put on a pair of jeans, and honestly, it's been very comfortable. So I'm still wearing jeans right now, which is crazy. That's not my normal attire. That's not my normal day clothing. So BB says that quake in Japan was pretty bad to Smidgen. Oh boy, I hadn't heard about that. Manuel says, I love the video this morning, Drew. Awesome. Okay, excellent. Darlene says, hi to everyone. Snowstorm coming. Family Christmas was going to be tomorrow with my sisters. Postponed for now. Oh, goodness. Well, please be safe, Darlene. Absolutely. David says, sorry, I can't type. LOL. It's all right. I understand. I have a hard time speaking. Manuel says, hey, Drew, celebrate 10th anniversary. Celebrating 10th anniversary? What 10th anniversary are you celebrating? Jeremiah says, I live here in Ohio. I was born and raised in Western Ohio, which is out of the boondocks. The last bad snow I ever remember having at my mom and dad's house was back in 2014, maybe 2015. So about 10 years ago. Okay. Smidgen says, a phone scammer was arrested in our country this week. Another scammer from California was also arrested in Florida. His thing was ATM skimming from people and the EBT welfare cards. Oh, goodness gracious.
Jeez.
Yeah, I haven't had to deal with any of that stuff, but I know the ATM skimming thing is a real thing. It was something we dealt with even back when I worked for the credit card company 15 years ago. So that kind of thing's been around for a while. EBT welfare cards scamming. Anything that involves the government and money, there's probably scamming involved, you know. Alien Zombie sends me $4.99. Greetings from across the pond. Well, welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And happy Sunday morning where you're at. Manuel says hi to Alien. BB says hi to Jeremiah. Says, I live in Xena, which is about 12 miles east of Dayton, where I grew up. Okay, very cool. Alien Zombie says hello to Manuel. Smidgen says, BB, yes, it was. Not that bad here, but because it was San Andreas' fault, it makes me nervous. I don't think, Avery, I think that's one of the reasons I don't think I could live in California. I'd be afraid that whole state is just going to crack off and fall into the ocean one day. You know? Good chance it'll happen. Glenn says, why do scammers always make love on the edge of a cliff? Answer, the goats push back. That's so sad. So sad. Manuel says, if it's scammed about garage doors, I'll call you and ask you for a good deal. Okay. About garage doors, I haven't heard about that, but okay. David says, I got a call from a cable scammer too, but I don't even have that cable company. Yep, they don't know. They don't know. They have no idea. The two of us says, we heard that there was a class action suit for Whirlpool washers years ago. People claiming to be service tech companies trying to get up front payments for parts. Really? I hadn't heard about that one. That's crazy. Oh, B. Bernie B sends me $1. B. Bernie B, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Jeremiah says, I love messing with scammers. It's hilarious. Being a 29-year-old man, I'm going to be 30 in May. My wife gets mad when I purposely make the scammers mad, but she also thinks it's funny. Yeah, my wife really hates it when I'm with her and I take a scam call. It very much does not make her happy, but she tends to understand it now because it literally is almost like a second job. So she lets me do it. But there are times when we'll be out, like if we get a date night and my phone rings, she's like, oh, you better not take a scam call. And I'm like, I promise. I'll make it quick. I'll make it real quick. It doesn't thrill her. Jeremiah says, you're right. Politicians don't get anything done. The only ones who got things done was President Trump. Hopefully he wins in 2024. Well, there you go. Manuel says, Drew, my blood work was good. My A12 was 5. That's fantastic. Manuel, I got my blood results for my last labs today. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's bad. And I need to work on it. No.
Higher?
Yes.
Whoa, that's real bad.
My wife is not going to be happy with me when I tell her what my numbers were, but it's back to working on it. It's a constant, it's a daily gotta work on it thing. My biggest problem is I forget to do the little things, like take my medicine or my insulin. Yeah, I'm bad. I'm I'm not go to the hospital stroke bad, but yeah, I gotta get back on it. This is the year to get back on things, get back on track. But that's 5.5 is fantastic,
Yeah, it's
Manuel.
good.
Good job. Good job. BB says you should have told that guy this morning to call Pierogi. I heard he wants to hire scammers to work for him to help stop other scammers. So that way they would be an ex scammer helping to get the let's see, where's this? Helping to get other scammers. See, honestly, BB, I don't know if that guy had any interest whatsoever with not being a scammer. He was very dedicated to being a piece of crap. So, you know, some people don't change, even if you offer them better jobs. Jeremiah says, I had a scammer call me one time when I was pumping gas at a Kroger gas station here in Sylvania, Ohio, close to Flower Hospital. And this idiot literally said I had won money from the lottery. Yeah, I've gotten those calls too, where they tell you you've won millions of dollars. I'm utterly amazed that anybody would believe that when people call people up and say they won the lottery, you know? Jim says, I notice these scammers are always go after the people on Medicare. They never go after the Medicaid people. I've had them ask if you're on Medicare or Medicaid before. So I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. Jeremiah says, and I've never played the lottery in my life. I said I had won over $100 million. And he said, oh, I'll send it to you in a check. If you just send me money to give you the check. I called him out for lying. Yeah, that's actually the last time I had the lottery scammers. The guy wanted me to pay the $400 processing fee using a gift card. And he wanted me to go to the store and buy a gift card. You guys are idiots. And people believe that. People believe it. That's the scary part, you know?
I know people that have fallen for it.
I know. We both know them. Susie says, I get international calls. First clue is that the number starts with a 1. Do not answer. Just know it's a scammer. Usually if I see a number that starts with a 1, or I think I've gotten it where it's the 162, the first 3 numbers, I always answer the calls. I always do it. You know, I love to talk to these guys, so I try not to miss an opportunity to talk to them. But if you do see an international number, I'd advise not picking it up, unless you're like me and just really like doing it. Sarah says, welcome. I love it when they ask personal info and you tell them to mind their own business. You'd think that'd be an easy thing to say, though, you know? But, oh well. Jeremiah says, BB, I live in Western Ohio, which is close to Bowling Green, Ohio. If you go past Western out into the country, my mom owns her own beauty salon because she's a beautician and she just retired last. Oh, I know there's more to that. But that's cool. That's cool. Sarah says, since you used to work for a credit card company, I need to ask you some questions about credit cards, but another time. Okay, that's fine. I haven't worked for the credit card company in many, many years. It's been a while. I used to work for Citibank, and I worked in initially I worked in collections. Then I got a job in the security department, authorizations and security. And then eventually I moved on to MIS, which is Management Information Systems, I think is what MIS stood for. I forget sometime. But it was inventory and analysis and forecasting and stuff like that. So it was more of kind of the stuff I do right now. But if you have questions about the credit card company, I can give you answers, but it's based on 10, 12-year-old knowledge. So it may not be current. The industry changes all the time. So I can tell you what I know. Birth says, when I finally got a life insurance scam call, I asked the license agent in my area. He stated he couldn't tell me anything about his company as he wasn't allowed to but give him my credit card number. Yeah, exactly. So it's so weird. If you get somebody who claims to be a license agent, one of the very first things you should ask is, what's your agent number? What's your license number? They should have that readily available to give to anybody who asks for it. And I love it when somebody says they're a licensed agent, and when you ask them for their license number, they get mad or they get angry that you would ask them for something so ridiculous. And it's really not. you really need to know who you're talking to, and asking for that information is the easiest way to do it. There's actually, there are Google searches in which you can take somebody's license number and actually look them up and verify they are a valid license agent, But if you ask somebody for their license number and they balk, or they give you a hard time, or they just decide they don't want to answer or don't want to tell you anything, most likely it's because they're not a real license agent. So, Laura's here. Laura says, glad you're well, Manuel. Just Me says, has anyone else gotten a call from Daniel at American Solar? I think we're friends now. I've gotten several solar panel scammer calls, and I don't remember all their names, but probably talked to Daniel at one point or another. Burr says, how far are you from Mansfield, Ohio? My friend was born there. Okay. Tim says, I live near New Manrid Fault. Haven't had a quake in about 8 years. So is that an active fault? I'm assuming it's not. If there hasn't been a quake in 8 years, it's probably not an active one, but still, I'd be scared to death to live near a fault zone, Jeremiah says, my favorite thing in the whole wide world, being a 29-year-old man who's almost 30 in May. My wife thinks it's funny, but I know she gets mad about it, is messing with scammers. It's funny. Oh, it's always a wonderful thing. Because if you think about it this way, they're not human, or they're below human. So I mean, you can get mad at it. If you're having a bad day and you need to yell at somebody or curse at somebody, do it to a scammer. Absolutely. It'll make you feel better.
They're not people.
They're not people. That's right. Sarah says, how many more Fridays, Drew? I think 15. No, maybe not. Maybe it's 13. I'll have to double check, but we're getting into the low numbers, the low double digits, and I'm very excited. Very excited. Thank you for asking, Sarah. It does make me feel good. Actually, we went to my daughter's house last night for dinner, and I mentioned the number of Fridays that were left, and her wedding is the week before my last day. And so whatever number it is my last day. Her wedding is 1 week prior to that. And she kind of freaks out when we talk about how much time is left, because she doesn't have a lot of time left. It's going to be rather exciting times, but it's coming up very quickly. Manuel says hello to Laura. Stephanie's here. Hey, Stephanie, how's it going? Says, hope you get better, Drew. Well, thank you. I still got a little bit of the cough, but most everything else is totally gone. But I appreciate it. Avery's the sicko, so as long as
I'm getting better. My sense of taste is coming back.
Oh, that's good.
I can smell a little bit and I can taste a little bit now.
As long as you can't spread it to me over the internet, I'm okay.
No, I don't think it works that way. No.
It's not how you get an internet bug. It's through the internets. Yeah.
No.
A computer bug, computer virus.
No, that's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. Yeah. Manuel says, Drew, my friend, my very bad AC1 5.5, my cholesterol 144. Okay. My AC1's almost, not exactly double yours, but it's up there.
That's bad.
I know. BB says, laugh out loud, Drew. Thank you. Sarah says, have you heard from the scammer? What's his name? James? I haven't heard from him in a while. Not in a while. Tim says, my wife uses Dexcom sensors to monitor her low blood sugars. It works great. Yes, my wife has the whole continuous glucose monitoring system. And she has one of those pumps that gives her constant insulin. I probably need to be that far, but I'm not. So, Manuel says hello to Stephanie. Burr says, I told a scammer once my AC1 was 30 and I've gotten 2 hours to live. That's funny. That's funny. I'll have to remember that one. Sarah says, you have one person here who fell for a scam. Oh, goodness. I know a lot of people that have fallen for scams. So there's not just one person. There are a lot of people that fall for these things. My dad fell for one. My mother-in-law's fallen for a couple. It's not uncommon. Oh, my boss's boss fell for one recently. Sometime last year, she got scammed by some people. He was telling me about what happened, but she said she was extremely embarrassed that she got took. But it happens. Happens to everybody. BB says to Jeremiah, unfortunately, I doubt I'll ever be out of the way unless someone takes me. No longer have a car. Oh boy. Glenn says, if you have an Amazon Echo, you can say, Alexa, where's area code 456? Does Alexa is Alexa part of the Amazon Echo, or is that something different?
I think it's one of the things that uses it.
Okay. Jim says, oh, sorry, guys. Jim says, I seen another video where the scam baiter reported that a Canadian woman got scammed out of $150,000. I can't imagine losing that much money. You know, I can't imagine having that much money to lose it. You know, I have pennies, I have quarters, I have change, and I'm afraid to have somebody steal that. You know. Darlene says, my youngest son is on disability. I told him Medicare doesn't call. We have gotten a few calls mentioning his name. I told him, do not call back the number provided. Nope. If you have a question regarding your Medicare or disability, call them directly. Don't just call people who just randomly call you up and leave you messages. That's the worst thing you can do. Be safe, be secure, call them directly yourself. Birth says scammers can be very charming, and that's why people get taken, and that's why scam baiters are vital. That is true. The last time when my mother-in-law got scammed, luckily nothing negative happened, but she got a call from a person claiming to be from her cable provider, and she was actually having an issue with the cable. There was something wrong that she was having an issue with. And they called and she says, yeah, I'm having an issue. And she starts giving them all this information. And eventually, when it came to me, when my wife started filling me in on what was going on, I was like, now hold on a second. Did you guys call them or did they call you? And my mother-in-law said, well, they called me. And I said, how did they know you were having a problem? And she got the call and had an issue and just started talking to the person. I'm like, they read your mind. They knew you were thinking about calling them and decided to cut you off and call you ahead of time.
Man,
so sad, so sad. Manuel says, I'm watching the games now. Today was the Steelers versus the Ravens. Oh, isn't there a game? Isn't the Colts and Texans? Isn't that going on right now? I think that's the primetime game tonight. That might be a good one to watch. And BB says, funny how they can't or won't give you any information, but they expect you to. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's not their business. Their business isn't giving you any information. It's collecting your information. You know? Sarah says, my best cholesterol number was 100 plus your age. Okay. It's 100 plus your age. I don't know what my cholesterol numbers are. I didn't think to ask. Stephanie says, hey, okay, that's good. All right. Stephanie says, laugh out loud. BB says, get better, Drew and Avery. Thank you, BB. The two of us says, we're going to turn in, everyone. We have something to share when we feel better. The doc wants to greet you. Thanks all for say we both. Okay, excellent. The two of us, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your evening. And they always leave comments on videos, yeah. And I greatly appreciate it. So I love seeing comments from people that I've met during these live streams, and it's always wonderful to see what they have to say. So Manuel says Steelers 17 over the Ravens 10. Okay, all right. Sarah says, I had COVID last year at this time. Really? I knew a lot of people that had gotten it, but I never got it. So I guess I got lucky. Or if I did get it, it wasn't enough to where I even noticed it. So,
yeah, exactly.
Which can happen. It can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Jim says, has anyone gotten their flu shot? I had mine 2 weeks ago. Yep, got mine taken care of. Last time I was at the doctor's office.
No, never had a flu shot.
Never had a flu shot? Okay.
It's called getting the flu.
Yeah. Gilbert's here. Hey, Gilbert says the names I use when they ask my name are Buster Cherry and Felter Snatch. Okay. Good names. Glenn says, wouldn't it be funny if all of your followers had the scammers that their name was Timothy Williams? Just imagine everyone he talks to was Timothy Williams. Scary thought. That would be frickin' fantastic. There was a call I got recently I think I made it into a video. It was the one where I kept calling them back and eventually, just kept harassing them. At the end of the video, I actually said, so you guys know, this is their telephone number. And I put out the telephone number. And then at the last minute before I published the video, I went ahead and clipped that part out and said, no, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't do something like that, because that's not me. That's not what I do. But it would have been fantastic if I'd given the number out and said, everybody call and tell them Timothy sent you. Tell them Timothy sent you. That would be funny. By the way, if you guys get calls from scammers, you can tell them, you can use the name Timothy Williams. That would be freaking hilarious if you did. Smidgen says, someone just now called, asked for my husband by name, and said he was at the house of the rising sun, and he's not available now. She said she'll call later. Okay. Oh, sorry. Manuel says, I watched Houston Indian Colts 7, Houston Colts 3. Okay. Well, honestly, if the Jags beat the Titans tomorrow, it doesn't matter what the results of this game tonight is, because the Jags will be in the playoffs. But fingers crossed, praying to heaven they actually make it through this one. One more. It's all they got to make it through. Stephanie says, wow, that's a lot. Manuel says, Drew, about tomorrow's game, Jags versus Titans. Yes, everybody root for the Jags, if you don't mind. Susie says, credit card collections, is there a statute of limitations? I stopped 6 years ago paying a credit card. Well, if you stopped paying your credit card 6 years ago, I'm pretty sure they've charged off that debt and gotten rid of it a long time ago. So, Darlene says, my husband has to do a blood level check. He is on meds. He doesn't need insulin shots. Well, that's good. I mean, I need insulin because I'm a type 2. But my problem is I forget sometimes to take it. I'll actually test my blood sugar, see what my numbers are, and then skip that one more step that you're supposed to do. And that's bad. And I know it. Sarah says, the person that scammed me scared the crap out of me, told me I would be arrested if I hung up or talked to anyone. Nobody is going to call you and tell you ahead of time that if you don't do something or you do something, they're going to arrest you. That's not how that works. When's the last time you saw a TV show or a movie where the cops called the person ahead of time, say, hey, listen, if you don't do what we say, we're going to come out there and arrest you. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, they just show up.
But scammers like to scare people. They like to try to put fear in you, because then they can take advantage of you. So that's what they like to do. Manuel says Dallas versus Washington tomorrow afternoon at 3:25. Okay. Yeah, the Jag game tomorrow is at 1. So by the time I'm done with the store, the game will be over. So BB says sometimes scammers are people you know personally, neighbors and so-called friends. That would be horrible if I had somebody who knew me that was actually a scammer. Ugh. Burst says Dexcom 7 is awesome. Okay. Jim says Colts vs. Titans on ESPN. Very good. Burst says people don't realize that scammers can be very charming, and it's very hard on people that they don't want to believe anybody else when they're trying to help them sometimes. That is absolutely true. They do try to get you to believe them. Believing them is one of their main selling points, is convincing you that they're on your side or they're trying to help you. That's kind of what the scam is they make you either believe them and trust them, or they try to scare you into giving up information that they need. So it's half a dozen of one, or what is it, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other type of thing. So trust them or scare you. Those are the two things that they use. Manuel says, yes, ESPN, my friend Tim. BB says, ooh, to Gilbert. Cohen, laugh out loud. Oh, Gilbert. Darlene, sorry. LA, is scammers come from mostly India, is what LA is asking. I've heard that there's a whole industry in India, but we also get calls from Pakistan. I've been told there's call centers in Mexico as well as the Philippines. So there are actually scam call centers all over the world. But most people, when they think of scammers and call centers, they think of India. And, that's totally something that's happened over the years. Um, there's nothing wrong with associating that, because sometimes it's absolutely 100% true. So Manuel says hello to Darlene. Just Me says, I answer Trixie's Magic Shop. What can we conjure up for you today? Very good. Manuel says, hi at LA. Darlene says, we all had COVID last August. Someone at my son's workplace was sick. Yeah, we all got sick after Christmas, after having dinner at my parents' house on Christmas Day, but nobody got COVID. We actually had 2 people check, and they all came up negative for COVID. Everybody just had a version of either a head cold or a flu. So, but luckily everybody's working through it. BB says, I wanted to start using something really hard for them to pronounce, like Victoria, Veronica, Witherspoon, Winston, or something like that. That's good. Timothy is the one. Timothy is probably the one name that shocked me the most, that they had such a hard time with, and I love it. I love it. Timothy is probably the greatest name I've ever used. Hey, Bill's here. Hey, Bill, how's it going? It says Pecan Head just exposed Modder Paul for the fake scam baiter that he is. Delete if not allowed. I'm not sure what he means by that, but okay. Pecan Head just exposed Modder Paul for the fake scam baiter that he is. Okay. Jim says, scammers called me and asked for my name. I told him Jigsaw, and I told him, do you want to play a game? He hung up. I wonder if they got the reference, though, or if they just knew you were screwing with them. That's funny. Burr says, I had COVID 3 times and it's no fun. Oh, 3 times? That's horrible. Manuel says, hiya to Bill. Bill says, hey there to Manuel. Glenn says, tomorrow, Denver versus Los Angeles. Last chance for Denver to possibly get into the playoffs. Manuel says, Glenn, tomorrow, Denver, I hope they win. Darlene says, good evening to Manuel. Tim says, I hate left many rental cars burning. I have left many rental cars burning in South Texas. I've left 1 or 2 there myself, yeah. So I understand what you mean. ADY says, yo, Misfit Corner Gang, yo gang, welcome to the show, welcome. Burr says, go Jags, thank you very much. Manuel says, hi to ADY. Smidgen says, YouTube could shut down your channel if you publish real scammers' phone numbers. Well, let's see, maybe that's a good reason not to do it, ADY says, yo to Manuel. Manuel says, yes, go Jags. Bill says, I was in the hospital for a month for cellulitis in my leg. Now getting better. Okay. Well, geez, Bill. Glad you're feeling better. Susie says, grown son and I talked on the phone talking about car warranties. Next morning, I get offers for car insurance. Grr, somebody's listening. Good possibility. Darlene says, you're Toyota, Tim. Laugh out loud. Info Scuba Diving says, Nigeria is rife with scammers. Nigeria, I've heard that too. I've heard that as well. Tattle's here. Hey, Tattle, how's it going? My vacation scammer call from Mexico. I have also gotten scammers from Afghanistan. Okay. Manuel says, oh, my friend Bill Fisherman, I get better soon. He prays. Manuel says, hi to Tattle. Smidgen says, Drew, set an alarm on your phone to remind you to take your meds. I've seen them. I've set them for my husband because he wasn't always remembering to take them. His phone goes off 3 times a day. I probably should. I should. I know. I've got to find a way to make it. What's so funny, the bad part is I'm supposed to text my blood sugars 3 times a day, which in most days I do 3 times a day. And then depending on the numbers, how much insulin I'm supposed to take. That's the part I forget to do. I'll test my blood sugars. Okay, my numbers are good, or my numbers are bad, or my numbers are where they're supposed to be. And then I skip the next step, which I'm not supposed to do. But it's a mental block. I do have a mental block. Laura says, so funny when you tell them to hurry up. Sometimes it's because I have other crap to do and I need them to hurry up and get off the phone with me. BB says, I notice that you have a hard time pronouncing names with VS or WS in them. I'm tempted to ask them if they are German. Oh, that's not good. Sarah says, use 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. I used to use that a lot. That used to be my fake address that I would go with until they started catching on to that. Smidgen says, BB, yes, also the T. Glenn says, I want all my drugs back that they found in the burning car. And yes, I want all the drugs and all the money back. If they found any money, I want it back. Bill says, do you watch Supercross? Nope, never watched Supercross. Burr says, I actually got a Social Security scammer who is based here in the U.S., and I told him I was standing right here at the Social Security office. I asked him his name, and then he hung up. That's funny. BB says to Bill, I had cellulitis in my left arm a couple of weeks ago, but it's better now. Was on antibiotics. We'll go to PT for my arm on Thursday. Oh, boy. Bill says, yeah, no fun to BB. Smidgen says, BB, yes, that's right. They can't. Nor the TH sound, so the word third sounds like turd. I had a scammer this evening who said vision. I said, I love how you guys say vision. I think that's so funny. And he got frustrated and hung up on me. It's like, I wasn't trying to make it a short call, but it was. I skipped one. BB says to Bill, glad you are better. And so sorry to hear you were in the hospital. Tattle says, I have a friend who lives alone, never had a car or driver's license. His car warranty has or is about to expire. Yep, everybody's car warranty is about to expire. If you didn't already know that, Manuel says, I checked my blood sugar level at the 114 this afternoon. That's good. 114 is not bad. ADY says, I want my 22 cans of Coke back. BB says to Smidgen, my husband was German. He sometimes has problems with those sounds. Sarah says, what is cellulitis? And Sarah says, they Visa, not Visa. Oh, that's right. Glenn says, each and everything. Ting, ting, ting. Yep. And BB says to Smidgen, though, for the most part, my husband spoke more perfect English and I forgot a lot of his German. All right. Avery, believe it or not, I just caught up on the chat. I feel so great. I'm gonna take a little sip of water, and then I'm gonna tell you guys something I want to talk about. All right. So prior to, I think it was around October that I started doing something different with the channel. Prior to that, I would take in a single day, I would probably get 10 or 15 calls, and I'd end up having 4 or 5 recordings that were decent enough calls that they could be made into videos. And then what I would do with those 4 or 5 recordings is I would make videos and I would plan them out one a day for the next 4 to 5 days. And then in October, what I started to do was, instead of doing a bunch of short videos where they were just really short calls, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I would take those 5 same calls that I got in a single day and I'd make it into one video. So I literally, whatever calls I get today were being made into a video for the next day. Now that does run into a problem very quickly when, say, Saturday, I don't get any calls. Sunday, I don't get any calls, which means I don't have a video ready for Sunday or Monday. And that's kind of the situation I've gotten myself into lately, is that one call that I made yesterday, or for this morning, was literally the only good call I got all day yesterday. So I like the format of multiple calls. Like if they're short calls, make them all into one video. But then I also like to get a one long call and make that into a video. But the problem I'm having lately is I don't have any buffer. I don't have like scheduled videos for the next 4 or 5 days to where I could take a day off or I could take a break off and not have to worry about it. So I'm constantly having to try to get enough calls to make videos. And that's one of the reasons why you guys may have noticed once or twice a week, I might do one of those retro videos where it's recordings from days in the past all strung together. It's literally because the day before I didn't receive any calls. Like, I'm probably going to have to put one of those videos together tonight for tomorrow, because I didn't get any calls today whatsoever, because I was at the store the entire day, and really none of the scammers wanted to call me, which is so sad. But so that may be something you guys notice, is every now and then we'll get a retro day in the life video, which is mostly what it is. I literally am going back to my previous videos, recordings, and taking like a whole day's worth and making it into one video. And there's been several of those where I had 5, 8, 9, 10 calls in one day that were all good calls, but you know, I don't have any other video. So hopefully you guys are cool with that, and keep commenting, leaving me messages on the videos, and let me know what you think. If they start to get too repetitive, or they start, I try hard to make them interesting and new, but sometimes they don't give me a lot to work with. So all right, I'm going to check up on the chat real quick, because I see Pez came in. Pez, how's it going? Says, good day, everybody. Hope we're all doing well today. Absolutely fantastic, sir. Pez is my good friend who lives in the future, and I love it. I love it. Let's see who else. Did we get anybody else new in here? What did Smidgen say here? Smidgen says, my 9-year-old is a type 1 diabetic. She also, since she was 3, used to do her own finger sticks and insulin injections, but now wears a unit that does it for her. Yes, there's a lot of advancements in diabetic care, which is a good thing for a lot of people. But all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up now. I'm exhausted. I got a video. I still have to make a video for tomorrow, but then we're going to get some good sleep, and I'm hoping Avery does the same thing, gets a good night rest, and I hope everybody out there has a good weekend. I hope everybody avoids the scammers as much as possible, and I hope everybody has a wonderful week. As I always say, if you get calls like the ones I get, either hang up on them or screw with them like I do. And if you do screw with them, try to record it and share it with everybody. Screw and share. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining the chat. Everybody out there, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Avery, once again, thank you, sir, so much. I hope you get some good rest and feel better soon.
Yay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to die here. Start coughing. All right, everybody. Take it easy. We'll see y'all next time.